Science jerks. Science jerks. Science jerks. The rate of change in acceleration of science. Science jerks.
Welcome to the Science Jerks! I already think the levels have maxed out and have ruined the entire recording.
That is the most bombastic you have ever introed the show.
Really? Is that a good thing or bad thing?
Wildly out of character. I do not approve.
So we're done now? It's over?
Pretty much, yeah. This,
Okay.
is the last goddamn podcast.
I'll try to keep
Great,
the
well, this
excitement
is-
levels to a minimum.
This has been fun, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, person
Yeah.
who hasn't been introduced. I'm Dave Chacho, your host, and with me is another host, Robert Chan.
Hi.
And we're here with a very special guest, Michael Busch.
Hi, I'm very special.
You're so special, Michael.
Darn tootin'.
Welcome to the show. You're a comedian, writer, improviser,
Yes.
all those things.
Yeah, I do a bunch of stuff.
Michael Busch is the creator and producer of one of my favorite sketch groups in LA, or possibly the universe, The Midnight Show.
Is there any,
Oh, well, thank you.
outside of Los Angeles, is there any sketch comedy worth speaking of?
I don't think it exists.
So if you say
For
Los
a brief
Angeles, that's the
period in the
universe.
90s, there was The State
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
out of New York.
Right. But they don't exist anymore.
They're still all alive.
Well, yeah. But they aren't the fucking comedic force that Michael Busch is.
That's true. The Midnight Show has a million videos online, which are all worth your time. What else you got going on?
I recently started a monthly variety show at El Cid called El Show. Myself and Sam Brown and Eric Moneypenny host it. That's a lot of fun. And
Sam's from the whitest kids you know from IFC.
true. They were from New York originally.
Also, pale before the might of Michael Busch.
That's at El Cid on Sunset in LA. And what was the other show you have?
I also work on Nick's Big Talk Show. It's a monthly show we do at UCB. It's starring Nick Thune.
Just as bright as Michael Busch, but not diminishing him in any way.
I like this guy.
That's what I do. I'm a hype man. I got a necklace clock over there. I don't put it on for radio because
Nobody can see. But as you're listening to the rest of this podcast, imagine Chan is wearing a necklace clock.
I really wish you were wearing that right now.
Big gold teeth.
We'll get you back on the show, and then next time, then I'll have it on.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What do we got on the agenda?
Stuff
About
birds,
birds,
anger,
allergies,
supermen,
Oh,
mutants,
mutant.
ubermensch.
more than one?
Oh yes,
Oh.
yes, many.
cave paintings, all kinds of science-like stuff.
Science-like stuff.
Hey, paintings. No, it didn't. Three of these things belong together.
It says
Three of these.
new scientist on the website. It must be science-related.
Fair enough. Let's do some science.
Science.
Ornithology.
Jan here with Chacho and guest Michael Busch. I picked this story honestly because the picture for the article was a bird with headphones. A bird with. Take a look. Take a look at that. Is that not the cutest thing in the goddamn world?
But that's
That-
really all I want to talk about.
That's pretty amazing.
First of all-
I wish this were a video.
It's like a little Princess DJ.
I did not realize headphone technology had come so far as to work for birds.
Sure.
I didn't know that there were bird earbuds.
If you look
out
really
there.
closely, it says Beats by Dre.
that makes
so
sense.
Those are $150 bird headphones. Kind of pricey. I don't feel like they deserve that. I don't feel like they can tell the difference between that and just cheap ass, $5 headphones.
Is that the special Birdman edition? That's a hip hop
But
thing, right?
yep, okay. I did dig for a second. I was like, wait, that sounds. Yes, he is a rapper that I never listened to. I'm woefully ignorant of hip hop rappers. Hip hop rappers? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ignorant of all bird rap, pretty much the entire genre. I haven't listened to the bird rap radio station in LA for years.
Man, I wonder if birds do have rap. They have songs. We've established that they have songs.
yeah.
The other bird story that I had was they're trying to determine whether bird song is music. Is it what we consider music? What is music? Which is kind of a bullshit question, but also,
They detailed a debate about whether or not birdsong is music or if it's just language, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, because music is a thing that you listen to. It's a cultural thing that is intended to elicit an emotional response. So
Seems like a semantic argument in a lot of ways. Like, how are you defining music?
Well, kind of,
And
but
how
I
you're
mean, like,
defining language.
if you know, like those
Language can be defined similarly, right? It's to elicit an emotional response or some response.
what's a transmission of information,
Yeah.
whereas music
Is
not
music not?
necessarily. I mean,
Well,
like
folk songs in the past were a way to pass along oral history.
yeah.
So
yeah,
Arlo Guthrie is not music. Is that what you're saying? Because my friend, he came to my hometown when I was 8 and sang the city of New Orleans.
were the birds into it?
The birds were tweeting along with their little headphones on.
Yeah, you got to listen to it with the headphones, man. It's a totally different experience when you're high, when little bird joints.
So the other cool thing about the bird headphones is they weren't just playing the music; they were auto-tuning bird songs into the little bird headphones with an auto-tuner.
Okay, there were two stories. The one with the bird headphones, they were trying to figure out how birds learn. So basically, they put little headphones over the birds, and little baby bird just tweets garbage. We can't tell the difference.
Shitty
hashtag.
singers.
It sounds like a baby.
They use hashtags willy-nilly. They don't make any sense.
They'll just sort of like babble, just like babies babble, and eventually they're like, "Oh, that big person is making a noise. If I repeat that." And then you start to get language. In the same way, birds learn, tweet. Oh, this tweet means something specific, so they start to learn. And they found that if they put those headphones on, had the bird tweet into a microphone, because, if there's a microphone, who doesn't want to get up there and just belt some karaoke out?
Sure.
And auto-tune it into some crappy Madonna song.
Well, that's what they were doing. They were auto-tuning it basically so that what the bird tweeted and then what the bird heard was different. They started making small adjustments to it, and they found that if you make small adjustments, the bird then tries to modulate its voice to get it right.
So basically, they were misteaching these birds. They were teaching these birds how to sing wrong.
They were fucking up generations of birds. They're making a whole host of little bird keshes.
And they
that
come out of
can't
the lab,
carry
and all
tune.
their buddies think they're retarded now because they need an auto-tuner to communicate, basically.
Yeah, little birdie T-pains. But they found like if you make small incremental changes, the birds will try and fix it. If they make huge changes, then it just registers to them as noise. That's how the brain perceives it when you're trying to learn, because that's part of the brain process. If it hears things that sort of make sense, they're like, okay, I'll fix it to sound like that. But if it sounds like a car horn, they're like, oh, okay, that's not me. That's not my thing. So even if the bird tweets and then it goes through and gets processed and comes out sounding like a car horn, then the bird just ignores it completely and doesn't learn at all. So, yeah, we are destroying avian culture, and I, for one, approve.
Yeah.
If we're going to ruin our recording industry, let's take some other species down with us.
I think avian culture is making American culture stupider.
The other story was about music and what is music, and the way people have been studying it is just studying the qualities of the sound, the melody, the rhythms. Like, okay, is that music? What this neuroscientist did was she looked at the brain responses, the neural responses to music in humans, then looked at it in birds and found some similar things. They're like amygdala responses when a male bird hears another male bird tweeting. So it's not just sort of an information transmission. It's also like an emotional response, like, oh, that bird wants to fight. So in that respect, it's kind of like
Bird bros?
Bird Bros. It's like the UFC theme song. If you heard it, you're gonna want to fight. 'Cause
Sure.
that's what it's there for. So a male bird tweeting to another male bird during mating season is like that song. That's all.
Allergology.
All right, look, I've had allergies since I was a kid.
That's why we call you old snotty. Behind your back, obviously, not to your face. Oh dear.
Is that what's happening? Is that why
You've ruined
all
it for
of
everyone.
this?
I'm sorry.
Every time I say old snotty in a room full of people, they all titter. Chacho here with Chan and our guest Michael Busch.
Hi.
they're saying now that, oh, we've got allergies all wrong. The interesting thing to me was they used to think, well, allergy research is still kind of in its early phases. Nobody knows exactly why people have allergies or why Americans have more allergies than everyone else in the
They're
world.
putting fluoride in the water. They're sending mind control signals.
There's a plot to sap and purify all of our precious bodily fluids. Clearly, the thing that interested me was the leading theory up until recently was that little tiny worms, hookworms called helminths.
Hellmouths.
Hellmouths.
You little tiny hellmouths in your tummy.
Right. If you have little Buffy the Vampire Slayers in your system, you do not have allergies, strangely. The preceding theory was that allergies were a response to little tiny hookworms or midichlorians or something in your system.
So you're saying the force is an allergic response, just like getting the sniffles.
This sounds like an 1800s theory.
It's
Do they have to bleed the worms out of you?
Well, no, actually, the hookworm theory was a little more recent because...
it was in the 90s that they were thinking these
The
things.
1890s?
Might as well be. If it doesn't have a 2 in front of the date, I don't want to hear it.
Nothing before 2000. Never trust a scientific theory
Name
older
one
than 12 years.
interesting piece of science that happened before the year 2000. Can't do it.
No. Dave also never leaves his house other than the month of February.
Well, they did research in 2006 to prove that that's the best month for going outside.
True.
Yeah, so that research is valid. Now they're saying that allergies are an evolved response to toxins rather than tiny invisible worms.
See, that sounds like science. That sounds like a real science
It
thing.
sounds like
Well,
a good theory,
I
actually.
think the hookworm theory actually was that the increased levels of allergic response were a result of there being hookworms down there, because then they're also inflaming what is that system?
The immune system?
The immune system.
Yeah.
And making it worse. So it's not like entirely invisible worms that are causing it.
Because hookworms cause high levels of immunoglobulin E, which are basically antibodies. And
Okay, that sounds good.
In fact, when I was
And also a Spider-Man villain.
when I was researching this, I came upon helminthic therapy, which people who are clearly not quacks, they actually inject hookworms into people to increase their immunoresponses. People who have immunodiseases or like Crohn's disease or
Sure.
AIDS, I guess,
Whoa.
which is an immunodeficiency. I don't know if anybody's using it for AIDS, but it's an immunodeficiency disease.
Now you're just making things up. I guess they probably use it for like.
It says worms are good for immunodeficiency, and that's what AIDS is. So I have concluded that the cure for AIDS is worms.
Just going to wander around injecting AIDS patients with hookworms. Because why not? How could that make things worse?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So we don't put leeches on people anymore, but we do
But
inject
we do.
hookworms into
But
AIDS
we
patients.
do.
Do we?
Do you?
There are people, they're starting to use some of these old treatments like leeches again, because what they do is they basically inject kind of a blood thinner.
Thin the blood, yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously you're not
Can't we
using
just
it
get
to...
blood thinner?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There are, in some instances, using the leech's blood thinner is more effective than other, like chemical blood thinners that we have.
Really?
So not always, obviously, but sometimes, we're not using it to purify the blood or anything, but there are reasons for using leeches. So
have you used a leech?
not for blood thinning.
Fair enough.
I've had one
But
on
if you-
my foot once.
Yeah?
Sometimes if you put it on your wiener, it feels nice.
Okay, all right. That's a different podcast.
That's We're bringing them all in. We're bringing them all in.
What is the...
We're gonna have a
What
weird
is the
sex segment
disease that
soon.
you're curing by putting leeches on your wiener?
Loneliness.
So, in conclusion, I have more midichlorians than everyone else.
Evolutionology.
Chan here with Chacho and guest Michael Busch. There are two stories here. The first one I ran across. It was on Facebook. Someone had posted it. And I thought, oh, this seems interesting. So I
tweeted
copied
this
it
at
and
you
sent
this
it.
week. Is that when you saw it?
No, I saw it from someone else. Was it the same article, though?
That great bastion of scientific journalism known as Facebook.
Well, once I read it, I was like, oh, this is bullshit. But it's still sort of tied in with the whole idea of aggression.
Well, when I read that human fists had evolved specifically for punching, the first thing I thought was Chan.
Right.
because he does little else.
This is true. I punch at things angrily, usually in the air. Sometimes I connect with people, and that's 48 hours.
He's punching the 8-track recorder we're using right now. I don't know if that helps in the tech or not.
No, okay, that story is legit. We'll get to that in a sec. This one, expressing anger can add 2 years to your to a person's lifespan. A couple of researchers in Germany claim that if you,
Seems like a little revisionist science maybe going on.
man, that was a long time ago.
Clearly, the
Germans-
Nazis, at least in the 30s, Nazis were living longer than Jews were. So anger and aggression was helping them
That
somehow.
was working for them. Yeah. Well, what they did is they did sort of a meta study. They just looked at 6,000 patients from different studies and found that, if you internalize your anger and anxiety, you get an elevated pulse. And elevated pulse leads to high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, all that business. So it's sort of telling you what you already know, that high blood pressure and, if you're
Repression.
freaking out all day long and just holding it in, yeah, of course you're going to die sooner.
Sure.
I like how they say that this is the reason Italians live longer.
Right.
This is what the German researchers said.
That was the
Italians
point.
live longer because they like to scream a lot.
That was the point. 2 paragraphs in, like, oh, okay, this is not real science.
Especially because every Italian uncle I have has problems with high blood pressure.
And also yelling and screaming.
And they are constantly yelling and punching me.
Yeah. The study was published in the journal Health Psychologies, which sounds like a fairly bunk journal. So
Psychologies, as in there's more than one psychology?
yeah.
Okay.
The link you sent me is from medicaldaily.com.
Right.
Clearly a
Check your
reputable
sources.
journal.
So the lesson here is, if you find science on Facebook, be wary. Not always. If it's coming from me, if it's coming from Dave, it's probably pretty reputable. If it's coming from some of your friends who also post links about pyramids on Mars, then maybe take it with a grain of salt.
Don't follow my science links.
Don't find it.
Did you retweet my story about how the Earth was created in 7 days, 5,000 years ago?
I
Science.
did, because I trusted you, and now I feel like a buffoon.
It's coming from me. It's true.
However, there is the Journal of Experimental Biology, a little more reputable, that is publishing a study that suggests that, in fact, hands were evolved for punching.
This is why we have opposable thumbs, because we like to mess up motherfuckers' faces.
Hells yeah. Well, it's possible for the thumb to have evolved longer for a number of different activities. The fact that it is shorter, it's possible that it is shorter because being longer doesn't help your punching, and in fact will hurt it.
Like, I guess they're saying there's better shapes that can grasp things, but there's very few different hand shapes that would be better at making a fist.
At smacking
And
people in the
hitting somebody
goddamn
in the
face with
nose.
it.
Also for video games, right? These are good video game thumbs?
Pretty sure that controllers evolved as a result of short thumbs.
I don't know about that.
I have run across honestly, fucking every controller they make nowadays, I feel like I should have longer thumbs for it. I don't know, probably just because I'm getting old. Maybe, kids know how to manipulate these things. Man, what happened to the old NES? Crosspad, A-B, done. That's
Yeah.
all you need. Anything more, it's just wanking off.
The Egyptians had way better controllers than that, even.
Definitely.
What, sticks? You want to play tic-tac-toe? Let me get out my controller and draw in the sand. It's not conclusive. There's just a growing body of evidence that suggests that our hand structure is optimized for aggression and not a whole lot else. Grasping bananas, I suppose. But still, there are better banana graspers out there.
Yeah.
Bonobos probably
Although,
got better peely
This
mechanisms.
might be another good explanation for why the humans out-evolved the Neanderthals. We punched them to silly putty.
I assume that all Neanderthals were born with a club in their hands. Every picture I've ever seen of them, they've got the big old brows, they've got a big old club, and they hit.
Revision, that's humanism.
Am I getting that from the Germans?
I think that the Neanderthals were a peace-loving people that we punched into putty.
Yeah. Homo sapes. Homo sapes. Homo
You
sapes.
can say USA.
Okay, we are the.
It's
we are
what
the
we're
pinnacle
best
of-
at.
We are the world.
It's time for a quiz.
It's time for a quiz. We're here with Quizmaster Elizabeth Ebeling. How you doing, Liz?
Woo woo, I'm doing good.
Excellent. You have some questions for us?
I sure do.
Awesome. We will be answering them and showing how smart/dumb we are.
The smart/dumb showing with Chacho and Chin and our guest Michael Busch.
Hi.
We are ready for round one.
All right, question 1. The cerebrum of the human brain is divided into 4 sections. What section is associated with perception and recognition of auditory stimuli, memory, and speech? Is it the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, or the temporal lobe?
What's the answer?
It's the temporal lobe.
Boom. What?
Which one was that? 4?
Yeah.
I just put 2. I don't remember which one.
It was 4.
Okay. Next question.
All right, what is the quickest way to turn an iron or steel nail into a magnet? Would you A, use the nail to carve a skateboard out of a tree, ride to a store, and trade the nail in for a magnet? Would you B, rub the nail with a magnet 50 to 100 times, always in the same direction? Or would you C, drive the nail into a brick wall with a hammer?
Can you do all 3?
Technically, yes, but would it create a magnet? Probably not.
That'd be fun.
What's the answer?
All right, if you rub a nail with a magnet 100 times or so, you'll line the atoms in the nail in the same direction and create a magnetic field within them. So
I
if you rub
think
it,
we all got that one.
Yay,
You
we're
can-
all really smart.
Also, wrap a wire around it and then run an electrical current through it, and it'll become an electromagnet.
Ooh.
Not relevant.
Not an answer. Number 3.
all right, which of these metals is not usually attracted by magnets? Is it A, iron, B, cobalt, C, titanium, or D, nickel?
What's the answer?
The answer is C, titanium.
Yay!
Up. Dave
I got one
it.
for once. I almost put Colgate, then I realized it was a toothpaste.
Next question.
All right. When humans walk over an obstacle, we avoid collision with that obstacle by A, focusing on the obstacle as we step over it, B, pre-planning before we encounter the obstacle, or C, both A and B.
Does the answer depend on how drunk we are?
D. We just stumble over it.
All right, the answer is B. We do not, in fact, tend to focus on obstacles we are stepping over as we step over them, but rather we plan our avoidance of them as we approach.
We all took the all of the above answer.
Yeah.
Because, like, let's hedge our bets. That seems like it.
I do fixate on objects that I'm going to fall over, so I think that's a thing.
Yeah, I was thinking that we usually do pre-planning, but then I thought, like, sometimes I actually look as I'm stepping over things. Possibly because I'm retarded.
Developmentally disabled.
I'm sorry. I slandered myself.
Next question.
Researchers who study the birth control pill fear that it may interfere with a woman's ability to pick a genetically compatible mate based on her perception of potential mate. Is it because of A, nonverbal communication, B, smell, or C, body fat distribution, and whether it is similar or divergent from hers?
What's the answer?
The answer is C, because women naturally find the scent of a male's partner with complementary genetic profiles more attractive than those with similar genetic profiles.
Oh man. man, this
Oh,
is a
we all
tight
got that one.
You better
Ooh,
start
all right.
smelling good.
That works both ways.
Ah,
I saw The Science of Sex on, what was that, PBS, Nova?
So you're saying that maybe women aren't attracted to me because I'm taking birth control pills?
yes.
And it's
Because
changing
you
my smell?
stink.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, I see that now. That makes a lot of sense.
Also a little of column C.
little column A, little column B. It's close. Chan's got 3, Chacho's got 3, and Bush's got 2. I guess we'll have to wait for the next episode to find out who takes it all.
Oh,
Whose
no.
science reigns supreme. I've been watching a lot of Iron Chef recently. I'm sorry.
Who
It's
wins
not-
all the stakes?
all the stakes, just like in Iron.
You really should give out stakes to whoever wins.
There's not going to be any stakes.
Maybe next episode.
I know we promised you stakes to get you here, but
Yeah.
it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Liz, where can
many
they find you
different
online if they want to find you?
You can find me on Twitter at 24 Starfleets or on Facebook at Chupa Mother with an A, flippin'cabra.com.
.com.
Or I guess not .com.
Cool. We will see you in a few days. Thanks.
Bye.
It's time for a logic puzzle.
I just thought we would solve, while we had the time, the hardest logic puzzle ever.
Cool.
If you guys want to dig into this.
Yeah, why not?
This was written in the 70s, I believe, and the
Did they
original...
have logic back in the 70s? I was led to understand that nothing before 2000
Was
was,
it before
worth a
2000?
shit, so.
They had logic. They didn't have pro logic. It was-
Oh, okay. So, yeah, it's amateur shit.
Yeah.
I got it. We can take it.
Just stereo, not 5.1 Dolby surround. 3 gods, A, B, and C, are in some order true, false, and random. True always speaks truthfully, false always speaks falsely, and random either speaks truly or falsely in a random manner. Your task is to determine the identities of A, B, and C by asking 3 yes or no questions, each to one god, and they understand English, but they will only answer in their own language, where their words for yes and no are da and ya, but we don't know which one is da, which one is yes, and which one is no. Go.
Are you. No, okay, no. Is the. If you.
How about, can I jump in here too?
Be my guest?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the answers they're going to give us?
Ya and da.
Yeah and okay.
But we don't know which is which.
Okay. So we have to figure out which one's true, which one's false, which one's random.
Yep.
Okay, so are you a god?
Well, obviously, if you. The answer is yes. If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
So one of them has to answer falsely, right?
So if you answer a random one that they'll say yes if it's the true God, they'll say no if it's the false God, and they'll say a random answer if it's the other God, so you don't really get any good information.
You have to ask 3 questions?
Yeah. The solution to this is a crazy long questions that are the first question is, does da mean yes if and only if you are true, if and only if God B is random?
I was
what he
just
asked
about to say that.
God A.
I was seriously just about to say that. I wrote that down right here.
It's all there, yeah.
I did, yeah.
So since the 70s, there have been 3 solutions only found to this puzzle, and then logicians, but it's the word's logic. And you're going to change to a long O for logician. Whatever. Doesn't seem logical, but sure.
Logical.
It does seem logical, strangely. There have been 3 solutions, but then these logicians have made the test harder and harder. And
Sure, because why not?
so they solved that one. So then they're like, okay, what if all the gods were random? What if you don't know their language at all and they just say some random sounds back to you? And apparently, and pretty awesomely, there are solutions to all of these questions. I read this whole paper that was published recently where you don't know the language of the gods at all. One of them's true, one of them's false, and the other one answers randomly by flipping a coin, so to speak. And he came up with this long answer about, is the alphabetical order of the answer that you're about to give me first in order, and is it true, and are you telling me the truth right now?
Man, no. Scientists, I understand. I get them and I respect them. Logicians can eat a bowl of dick because all their only task, their career is just being a prick. It's like, I'm going to come up with something that has no answer.
Their job
That's
is
my
basically
goal.
to try to find questions that have no answers and then answer them, which I think is pretty fucking awesome, personally.
Because you have 100% job security, because you're the only one that knows the answers to your questions.
I like that they have what they call head-exploding answers or questions, which are such that, are you telling me the truth right now? Or is the answer you're about to give me the truth? Which...
It worked for Kirk. Why wouldn't it work for the rest of us?
Is that the one? That's what makes the robot's head explode, right?
Yeah.
Or actually, I think the head exploding question is, are you lying right now? Because if it's the truth guy, he can't say yes or no, because those would both be lies. And if it's a false, he can't say yes or no, because those would both be...
Here's the thing, though. Here's what happens when you do that. When you do that, you turn the god into a rampaging, murderous god, like Hal in 2001. That was the problem, is that he's supposed to take care of these people, but then they gave him other orders, and they contradicted, and he went crazy, and he murdered everybody. So we should not be giving these questions to anything that might possibly, in the future, murder us. Have the capacity to murder us, maybe in some future way, develop the ability to murder us.
So we shouldn't give them to any humans then.
No.
Okay.
Or gods.
I feel like I'm turning murderous right now, is the thing. That's why I'm
we
telling
should
you.
never ask a human, are you a god? But
Nope.
if a god asks you,
Then you say
you
yes.
say yes.
So we're all gods? Is that what we've decided?
We're...
Yeah, which one am I? Am I the truth, the liar, or the random one?
Yeah.
Well, all I know is that everything that we've said thus far has been a lie. Therefore, we are clearly
The article doesn't even exist!
God B.
But that's our show.
And that's our show. Thank you very much to special guest Michael Busch.
Yay! Science.
Yay, science. Where can they find you
Possibly
online?
our first guest who's given himself a round of applause, which I appreciate.
That was for all of us. I was giving.
Yeah. Why would you assume that? Why would you assume that he's a narcissistic asshole just because he's clapping when we say his name?
I just thought he deserved a round of applause, and I saw that he took the initiative.
I noticed you weren't clapping. What's up with that?
So.
Why don't you like Michael?
I'm not a joiner.
What?
Well, you could have let it. I mean, you could have started it off. Would have been.
Yes,
could have been-
Is
Would
that
have been
not
a nice thing to do.
Could have been included in the group.
Please welcome my new co-host, Michael Busch.
Hey, science!
Where can they find you online? Where are they to look for you?
Oh, I guess on Twitter, Michael_Busch and
B-U-S-C-H or?
BUSCH. Yeah.
Okay.
Not the evil Bush spelling, the beer Bush spelling.
Exactly.
Gotcha. I
Although-
didn't know that. Beer good, other Bush evil.
I think the Anheuser-Busch company might be evil. Not sure.
They're actually owned by Germans, I believe now.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Or is that?
You heard that? Anheuser-Busch wasn't a tip-off? That
Well,
sounds-
there's
Native
actually a
American,
company-
Is it Spanish?
There's a company called Budweiser in Germany that existed before Anheuser-Busch started making
Oh,
beer.
seriously?
And they stole the name.
Huh.
So Germans stole it back from Michael Busch's ancestors.
Exactly.
And now it's all owned by InBev, I believe, which is the German company you were talking about. That is legitimately true. That's how you know I am the true-speaking God. You can find us online at sciencejerks.com, Twitter at @thesciencejerks, Facebook Science Jerks or something. I'm sure if you type in science and jerks, it'll come up.
I hope so.
I actually hope it's Science Jerks or something.
Or
I
something.
hope that's your actual page.
Me too. We should also
It'll
get
just
that.
be
name.
us and a bunch of jerks.
Dave at Science.
Dave at ScienceJerks.com, Chan at ScienceJerks.com. I'm at Dave Chacho.
I'm at 999 RPMs.
Michael_Busch on
At-
Twitter. Is
at-
there a Midnight
Yeah,
Show
at,
website?
goddammit.
Yeah, I believe it's just the midnightshow.net, I think.
When did you get that address? Like in the 30s?
Yeah. It's the best time for email addresses.
Who's at
That was wide
midnightshow.com?
open
Just some flasher who always flashes at midnight.
Why would you assume first that would be the first thing that would come up?
I'm coming up with all kinds of good career possibilities for myself.
Logician, Midnight Flasher,
To see
all of
if
these things pay well.
midnightshow.com is available and start advertising my flashing.
Oh God, what are we calling it?
The
now?
mighty quiz.
The mighty science quiz.
Quiz.
Time for a quiz.
.com.